Ready to brave the zombie apocalypse in the American South? Create your survivor, learn new skills, and don't go down without a fight. This is the story of how you died. Project Zomboid by the Indie Stone is a zombie survival that was first released in November of 2013. The development team has grown and continued to unleash update after update in the past decade. The devs have expanded upon the features of the game and gained a cult following in this time. Players have lauded the game as the best zombie survival game, and for good reason. The intense level of detail, simplistic yet atmospheric graphics, and the retinue of challenges lead to an incredible game worth its large following. Stick around for some tips on how to survive even longer in your end of days. Attention to detail is one of the oft-praised features. The game itself is complex in its mechanics. You must take into account your hunger, temperature, boredom, fatigue, and more. What you eat can affect your weight and health, leading you to seek out things other than just snack foods to satiate your hunger. Thicker clothing helps protect you from injury, but there's only so long you can wear a fireman's jacket in the heat of a Kentucky summer. Make sure you're holed up in a safe spot to sleep, or the Zeds might swarm around you in the night. And don't forget to stockpile crossword puzzles and magazines to entertain yourself. You don't want to die of boredom. One part of the game that has a constant effect on your survivor is their carry weight. Clearing out your cabinets will soon encumber you. This can slow you down and exhaust you, leading to more negative effects. Survivors must be smart in what they take and where they store their loot. This is especially true in multiplayer, where other survivors may have an eye on your prized possessions. Bags and backpacks can help, as what you keep in one has its weight reduced. What you have must also be maintained. You and your clothing must be routinely washed, especially if you have blood from the Zeds on it. Weapons must be repaired, becoming more likely to lose durability with each successive repair. When you load into the game, you get to create your survivor. You have a large selection of occupations and traits, as well as a pool of points one can spend on positive traits. Negative traits, those that make your time surviving harder, give you points, whereas positive traits, ones that help you in a variety of ways, cost points. You can take as many traits as you want to customize your character, but your total points value must be greater than or equal to 0 before you can spawn in your character. Traits can affect the skills you start with, how fast you learn new ones, your ability to use various tools and vehicles, your body's resilience, and other abilities. An invaluable tip for surviving the apocalypse: watch as much TV as you can early on. Prove wrong those who say watching TV is a waste of time. You can learn crafting and cooking recipes, gain skills, and keep yourself entertained by the programs on air. The Life and Living TV channel provides skill-building programming, whereas the other channels give more insight into the lore of the game. These programs just provide entertainment, reducing boredom for your survivor. You may also be able to find VHS tapes you can play for the same effects. Home VHSs just reduce boredom, while retail VHSs can also help you build skills. Over time, the power grid goes out, leaving players without electricity. That is, unless you can find and keep fueled a generator in your base. To prevent yourself from running out of food, you'll need to farm, hunt, fish, trap, and forage. To create a base safe from the infected hordes, you'll need to learn some carpentry and collect wood and nails. You can get wood from trees or by disassembling furniture and buildings around you. As you progress, you become more resistant to the terror of zombies around you, even becoming used to the new normal at around day 150 of the apocalypse. If you get into any scrapes, make sure you clean, bandage, and suture your wounds if necessary. Don't forget to change your bandages as they dirty over time. One aspect of a zombie survival that is very important is how they handle zombification. In Project Zomboid, various sources refer to the zombie virus as the Nox infection. These in-game sources give hints about the vague origins and spread of this illness, but what everyone knows is, there is no immunity to spread by contact. You should avoid scratches and bites from the infected whenever possible. But once you have suffered a zombie attack, how do you know if they have infected you? The short answer is, you don't. A slow progression of symptoms reveals your path towards zombification. You can't halt the infection, but may slow it down by staying in otherwise good health. With nothing else affecting the spread, death occurs around 72 hours after the initial infection. Signs start with an instant increase in body temp as the survivor gains a fever to fight off the infection. Then, the character gains the anxiety moodlet, followed by 4 stages of sickness. Each stage decreases the survivor's health in an irrecoverable way. Zombie bites are the most dangerous, spreading the infection 100% of the time. Scratches and lacerations are less deadly. They carry a 7 and 25% chance of infection respectively. At the very least, the player characters are immune to the airborne version of the virus. Non-zombie injuries, such as cutting yourself on broken glass or getting scratched by a tree, cannot give you the Nox infection. Speaking of injuries, there are a lot of things to look out for as you're making your way through the world. You can break windows to gain entry to otherwise locked buildings, but be careful of attracting zombies with the sound or cutting yourself on the broken glass. Moving through trees can give you cuts and scrapes, as well as hide zombies in the brush, so beware what paths you take to avoid the hordes. Adding to the detail, every item in the game is 3D modeled. This allows you to fully interact with your environment and all the items in your inventory. This means you can grab a can of beans from your cabinet, then set it on the counter while you search for a can opener. Even the junk scattered around the map can be picked up and moved elsewhere or placed in a garbage bin to tidy up your base. The atmosphere keeps you reminded of your dire situation. From the sound design to the desaturated graphics, you are very aware you are one of the last humans alive. Zombies groan outside your windows. The intense audio stings when you're spotted let you feel the same panic as your survivor as the horde swarms you. Due to the game's longevity, Project Zomboid has an incredible modding community. You can find mods that add new events and items to the game, even replacing large sections of the map with new areas. Some retexture various in-game items and add new music and atmosphere to the game, among other things. Even if you run out of ways to survive in the base game and various challenge modes, you can find a mod that throws a brand new challenge or map for you to explore. You can play alone or with others. Many servers are out there with various rules and mod sets. If you want to work with others in PvE, roleplay, or raid bases in PvP, you're sure to find a server that fits your playstyle. Ready to take on the zombie apocalypse? With such a great atmosphere, a very detailed survival system, and thousands of character builds, you're sure to find the perfect zombie survivor for your end of days. This is how you died.